Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of H3VR Reloads. I've gotten a few comments on some of my videos from some really nice people saying they want this series to come back, so that's what I'm gonna do. This is episode 4 of the series, where we will be reviewing Submachine Guns. This episode will be split into a few pieces though, with different timestamps for the different kinds of firearms I'm telling you how to operate. Okay, let's get going. So first off, on our wonderful buffet, we have the MP5. Everybody knows the MP5. It's such a famous submachine gun. It comes in 1-round burst, 3-round burst, and full auto. This is your standard MP5 that you can find in most media, and it really does live up to its name. So, in order to load this weapon, first, we take one of our mags, which, as I stated before, you can pop into a slot, and click down on the thumbstick to spawn lock one of these, but today we won't be doing that. You take your magazine, you just shove it up in the magazine well. Pretty self-explanatory. Here's your charging handle. You pull this back, and that puts a round into the chamber, and you're ready to fire. Excellent. Now, we just take another magazine. Now, we can press down on the thumbstick. Now that we have emptied the gun, we can either cock the charging handle back and up to make sure the chamber is clear, and then pull out the magazine, or if we wanted to, we could simply just pull out the magazine and then charge the handle once there's a new magazine in there. Now that we have a new magazine in here, we can pull back the charging handle again, and we're ready to fire. Excellent. Now, there's an interesting feature of the MP5 in the game and in real life. You can pull the charging handle back all the way and then up, and it gets stuck in this little notch here. Now, you take your magazine, pop it in, and you slap down on the charging handle, and you're ready to fire. Pretty cool, huh? Just one more time for anybody who's still confused. You take a magazine, insert it into the magazine well, pull the charging handle back or back and up, close it, and you're ready to fire. Wonderful. That was the MP5. Now, moving on, we have the M1A1 Thompson. In order to load this beautifully handcrafted US machine gun, you take your magazine of 45 ACP, insert it up into the magazine well, pull back the charging handle, and it is an open bolt submachine gun, meaning it does not load a round in until you pull the trigger. Now, press left on the thumbstick and click for fire. So at the moment, we're on single. So that's single fire, but if you go left on the thumbstick and click in again, we get full auto. Wonderful. Now this submachine gun has a feature most weapons in the game do, where you go down on the thumbstick and click in, and it pops out the magazine, and you're ready to load a new one. Wonderful. Just one more time. Magazine. Into the magazine well. The bolt stays open after you fired all your rounds, which is very handy. Wonderful. Moving on once more, we have the Sten Mark II. So, in order to load the Sten Mark II, you take your magazine, insert it into the side-mounted magazine well, which is a special feature of the Sten, grab onto the lower barrel portion, pull back the charging handle, and release. This is also an open bolt submachine gun. Now this submachine gun has single fire, marked by the R, and full auto, which you can activate by going left on the thumbstick and clicking in. I have actually fired a full auto Sten before at a shooting range, and they are beautiful. With the Sten, you have to grab the magazine out of the well and pull it to remove it, and then insert a new one, pull the bolt back, and you're ready to fire. Now, the only way to really have this gun on safety is, first of all, empty magazine or no magazine, and you pull the bolt back and up and release it. This makes sure that the bolt cannot move forward, preventing it from firing. Now, one more time, magazine into the well, grab the foregrip, cock back on the mechanism, and fire. Wonderful. Now, moving on once again, we have the MP34 submachine gun. Now this is a very complex looking submachine gun, but it really isn't. It's very simplistic. Now, in order to load this submachine gun, like the previous ones, you take the magazine, you insert it into the magazine well, you pull back on the bolt, and this one technically doesn't have a safety, so you're ready to fire. Wonderful. This submachine gun does not let you eject the magazine with the button, which means you have to grab it and pull it, just like the Sten. Take your new magazine, insert it in, pull the bolt back, and this submachine gun actually also has a full auto mode by going left and clicking in on the thumbstick. More than likely the reason it's marked with an S is German. Once again, you take your magazine, stick it into the well, pull back the bolt and release, and you're ready to fire. Wonderful. Now we move on to our final two submachine guns, the MAC-10 and the compact Uzi. Starting off with the MAC-10. So, in order to fire the MAC-10, you take your magazine, insert it into the pistol grip, as that's where the magazine well is, pull back the top charging handle, go left on the thumbstick and click in to put it off safety, and you're ready to fire. Wonderful. With this gun, you do have to grab the magazine and take it out. It also has a foldable stock right here that also extends, as well as a little cloth foregrip. So now, we take our new magazine, insert it, pull back on the charging handle, and you can also set it to full auto by going left on the thumbstick and clicking in from semi. Gangsta style. Wonderful. Now, for our final weapon in the submachine gun category, the legendary Uzi. If you've played any kind of video games before, I'm assuming you know what an Uzi is. Pretty much everybody knows what an Uzi is. The Uzi was made by the Israeli military. Fun little fact. So you take your magazine, insert it into the magazine well, pull back on this top charge handle, go left on the thumbstick and click in to set it to fire, which is currently semi, and you're ready to fire. The iron sights on this thing suck so bad. Yeah, these irons suck. Now, in order to take out the magazine, on this gun, you can go down on the thumbstick and click in to drop it. Insert a new one, pull back on the charging handle, and this also has a full auto mode. Wonderful. And that about does it for our submachine gun portion of this video. Moving on to PDWs. Now, we have the PDWs. Starting off, the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger is an internally suppressed 300 blackout PDW. It usually comes with these flip-up iron sights that I had to put on myself. Here's the magazine it takes, which is 300 blackout subsonic. Now, in order to load this, you take your magazine, insert it into the well as such, pull back on the charging handle and release, and then go left on the thumbstick and click in to set it to single fire. It is so quiet in real life. And then, if you want, you can go left on the thumbstick and click in again to set it to full auto. In order to empty the magazine, you go down on the thumbstick and click in. I love the Honey Badger. Now, moving on, we have the MP7A1, as featured in Half-Life 2. So, in order to load this gun, you take your magazine, insert it into the pistol grip, pull back on the charging handle right above the extendable stock, release, and then go left on the thumbstick and click in, and you're ready to fire. Then, you can also go left on the thumbstick again and click in again to set it to full auto. Wonderful. With this magazine, you can go down on the thumbstick and click in to release the magazine. It also has this nice little grip that I actually downloaded a mod for this feature, because usually it just stays like this permanently. The forward grip does. So this is just a mod that I downloaded to allow it to do that, and it's very nice. So put your magazine in, pull the charging handle, and you're ready to fire. Wonderful. One final time, magazine, pistol grip, charging handle, fire. Wonderful. Next up, we have the P90 Tactical PDW. The P90 usually comes with a rail-mounted laser sight as such, or a small red dot sight on top. So first, you take the magazine, insert the front part between this little bar, and then it'll snap into place. Then, the charging handles are right here. You pull back on those, go left on the thumbstick and click in, and you're ready to fire. Then you can go left on the thumbstick and click in again to set it to full auto. This thing shreds. Now you grab the magazine out of the magazine well in order to replace it, and slide the new one in. pull back on the charging handle, and you're ready to fire again. One more time, pull out the magazine, grab the new one, slot it in, pull back on the charging handle, and you're ready to fire. Some interesting things about this P90, which are very accurate to real life, are the shell casings eject out of the bottom. The stock is fully polymer. The magazines clip in up here at the front. There's these tiny little rails on the side for if you wanted a tiny little laser. And, most interestingly, the safety is down here, right next to the trigger. Interesting, right? And I also just noticed this. If you can't read that, that says Rush B. If you've played CSGO, you get the reference. Wonderful. Now, moving on to our final PDW, the Gepard, or Jeopard. This thing is a beautiful Russian PDW / submachine gun with the gas piston of an AK, a lovely made pistol grip, a side folding stock, a mount for any kind of Russian sight, and an AK foregrip, as well as the end of an AK barrel. And this is a beauty. I've put the Gepard suppressor on here, mainly just because it's so much cooler that way. And it's quiet. So, in order to load this submachine gun, you take your magazine, insert it up into the pistol grip, go left on the thumbstick and click in to set it to semi-auto so you can grab the bolt, slide it back, let go, and you're ready to fire. Hear that? That's nothing. Beautiful, right? Now, with this submachine gun, you can go down and click in on the thumbstick to release the magazine. So you're ready for the next one. Once again, magazine, grip, charging handle, and fire. Wonderful. That about does it for the PDWs. Next up, we have lever actions. Now, we have the lever action rifles. Starting off with the 1873 Winchester. So this lever action rifle takes 45 long Colt, which is kind of the ancestor of 45 ACP. So, in order to load this rifle, you grab onto the foregrip, take your 45 long Colt rounds, and shove them into the port right here. This rifle holds exactly 14 rounds. And of course, like any rifle that's lever action, you can spin it to reload it by going up or down on the thumbstick, which gets you a spin, and then yanking backwards to load a new round. And we are empty. Next, we have the 1894 lever action rifle. This rifle takes 44 Magnum. And, just like the Remington, you take your rounds and shove them into the ejection port. This one holds 10 rounds. and can also be spun and cocked while spinning. Next, we have the Rio Rig Bore. This is a modernized and rubberized version of the original weapon, and it takes 4570 government and also functions as brass knuckles. So, you take your 4570, shove them into the ejection port, and this rifle holds 7 rounds. Wonderful. Now we have the final and possibly oldest of the lever action rifles. This is the 1860 rifle, which functions similarly to the volcanic pistol that we saw in the second episode of the series. It can also be spun and holds, I think, 15 rounds. So, the way you work this weapon is grabbing this tab, pushing it up and twisting. Sometimes it'll snap back. Grabbing the barrel, taking your 44 Henry rimfire rounds, and putting them in the end like that. Now, you put it back, let go, and that chambers around once you cock the weapon. And it does hold 15 rounds. That'll do it for the lever actions, and that'll actually also do it for this video as I'm getting really tired. So, thank you guys for checking in to part 4 of H3VR Reloads. Next time, we will be reviewing the carbines, assault rifles, and battle rifles. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later, sinners.
I'm back, where I belong. Silver gets out on the morning dawn. With the bass in on my head, I'm missing all that I hit to now. I get the kids to go and I get